let it dry normally a bit more than I have. So the answer is yes, it may be a problem, but we'll see what happens. Whoops, dripping paint everywhere. Let's get a different brush. So what I'll do now is go over everything I've done, but fairly lightly. So I'm barely letting the brush skim the paper, really. Now, this region of the neck is covered by the white mane, but I'm just going to put in some colour just to kill the white, and we'll come back and do the mane later. And my hope is that so you can see first of all the paint, the underlying paint, starting to go. It's starting to move there because that was still wet. But in general, it's only been drying for a couple of minutes, and I'm coating over it without too much difficulty at all. And my hope is that when this overcoat dries back, you'll be able to see even more than we are at the moment some of those underlying shadows. So again, even though I'm doing this quite simply, I am keeping in mind the direction of my brush strokes. And even though this part of the leg, the foreleg here, is white pretty much, again, I'll coat that as well. And one of the things I meant to mention earlier, which I haven't done today for you, is I will quite often work by, say, doing this stage with conventional acrylics. And then the reason for that is, as I showed you earlier, once the conventional acrylic is dry, once that underpainting is dry, then it's completely waterproof. And so the dry acrylic is smooth, and it provides a wonderful surface to paint the interactives on top of. It's lovely and slippery, so you can work really quickly. But in addition, if you kind of mess it up the painting with your interactive, you can just wet it and scrape it off with a paper towel, and you've still got your underpainting preserved, so you don't risk losing your work. Okay, so I'm sorry. You can, but what will happen is they won't be interactive anymore. Yeah. So they'll just work like normal acrylic. Yeah. So there's no harm in doing that, but you can't respray, because otherwise I think it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Because you could buy normal acrylic, which I think is. I don't know if these are more expensive or not. Actually, if they are more expensive, they certainly go further because there's less waste. You need so little paint, to get what you want. That I think they probably work out a bit cheaper in the long run. Anyway, so what I'm going to do next is pop in a cast shadow. So there's quite a strong cast shadow here. So the temptation would be to perhaps use black or just a very dark brown. But even within shadows, there are colours. So generally speaking, I would say it's better to go brighter and more vibrant with your shadow colour, at least initially. And then, because you can always darken it later, or darken part of it. And again, that helps to create a more convincing reality. If you have modulations of colour and tone within your shadows, then that's much closer to real life than just having a solid block of black or dark blue. So it's a little bit of an odd cast shadow because the horse is on quite uneven ground. But nevertheless, that starts to bring him to life. So next up, what I'll do is pop in a bit of even though it's a brown background, I'm just going to put in a little bit of a light green background. Again, we can work wet in wet. If I perhaps hold the brush this way, you can see I just get these little bursts of brown coming through. And of course you can do that with any colour you like. And it's just a nice way to quickly cover an area but get some interesting colour mixing. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put yellow down one edge and red down another, and then a central colour, so you've got three colours going in. But really I just want to sort of cover the white paper at this point. That's all I'm attempting to do.